Hi you guys, happy Tuesday. So today we're going to continue reading a little bit more about Buddhism. So we're going to begin with one of these stories from this book, from the Book of Kindness, and then we're going to read about a few more holidays and traditions in this book. Okay? So this, and it begins with a quote, remember, each story. So this quote is, "Rest peaceful as an infant, rest tranquil as a waveless ocean, rest settled as a mountain." And this one has a beautiful picture. So I'm going to attempt to show you the picture as I read. We'll see how this goes. So this story is called The Elephant and the Wind, a Jataka Tale. Let's make sure you can see it. When the Buddha stayed at his monastery in Jetavana, there was a monk with a questionable past and constant fear of his life. If the wind rustled the leaves of a tree or a shrill bird call rang through the forest, the monk shrieked and quickly hid under the nearest table. Soon his constant trepidation began to affect the other monks. Not wanting to be infected with similar fears, the group of monks had just begun discussing the problem when the Buddha entered the room. Hearing all about the jittery monk, the Buddha gently suggested, "Don't be angry with this brother, monks. Once before, long ago, in another lifetime, he carried this same dread in his heart. And just like long ago, with our help, he will slowly learn to leave these fears behind." Then the Buddha recounted this tale. Once upon a time, many years past, the former Buddha lived as a tree sprite in the jungled foothills of the Himalayan mountains. And in those days there lived a great white and beautiful elephant in a nearby city. The king gave over the care of his rare elephant to the royal animal trainers, hoping that she would learn to perform tricks. Okay, no more pictures, so I'm going to stop showing you. Sadly, though, and unbeknownst to the king, they treated her cruelly. Chained and shackled to a large post, she was held prisoner. They insistently barked commands at her. If she disobeyed her trainers or needed to rest, they prodded and poked her belly with sharp rods and lashed her legs with stinging whips. Poor elephant. Finally, they wounded her one too many times. Anguished, she fought against her shackles until they broke. With her immense strength, she plowed through the wide brick walls and escaped her compound. The trainers scattered and ran for their lives. The great elephant fled as fast as she could, deep and far into the hills. She ran and ran until she was very far from civilization, and still she kept running. The men who were later sent to recapture her found not a trace and eventually gave up their search. Months passed, and although people had forgotten about the elephant had not forgotten people. She was terrified of being caught again. When the long, lush meadow grass rustled in the night wind, she would startle from her sleep and stampede through the trees, bellowing in fright. Up mountainsides she clambered, down valleys she ran and ran, never at peace. In constant dread, she lived as though she were still tied to her old training post, and in time the great elephant grew deathly thin and weak from exhaustion. Now in these same mountains lived the Buddha as a tree sprite. Many times he had watched the agitated elephant pace back and forth beneath his tree. But now he saw that the elephant would die without some help. Luckily, his chance came soon. It was a scorching summer afternoon, and the great elephant needed relief and rest in the tree's shade directly below him. The little sprite quietly slipped into the lowest fork of the tree, appearing very much like leaf-dappled sunshine. Before the elephant had noticed him, and before she could run away in alarm, the sprite whispered in her ear, "Do you fear the wind that only blows the leaves away? So much fear held in your heart will waste thee all away." The elephant heard the sprite's quiet words and found them soothing. It was a new feeling. She didn't run. Looking up at the tiny sprite among the leaves, the great elephant wondered if she did have anything to be afraid of anymore. After all, here was the smallest creature of the forest telling the biggest not to be afraid. Could it be that she had simply gotten used to being fearful, and maybe there was a very different way to be? So bit by bit, the elephant relearned how to enjoy her life in the mountains. Little by little, she was able to sleep through the common night sounds of the forest. The dark, moonless nights no longer scared her. Instead, she beheld a glittering, star-filled sky. She sought out the company of other creatures, frolicked and played. Thanks to the kindness of the tree sprite, the great elephant became strong and healthy and lived very happily ever after. And so the Buddha concluded this lesson with the monks. From that day on, they treated the restless monk carefully, with kindness and compassion, until finally his last fear was well gone. Oh, that's such a sweet story. Thankfully, this one wasn't so sad this time. Last one was surprisingly sad. So basically, this poor elephant was so mistreated, right, and so abused that she had trouble living her life normally and to its fullest, right? She was constantly in fear, even though she wasn't in danger anymore. A lot of people today actually go through that. It's called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And most people coming back from war deal with it because even though they're safe now, they still feel as though they're in danger and in battle. Yeah, a lot of people suffer from it. Unfortunately, it's pretty sad. And animals can definitely get it as well, which is crazy to think about. Okay, so let's move on. I believe we are on, yeah, I made us a little post-it so we wouldn't lose our spot. I believe we are on, and I don't know if you say, if it's parinirvana or peri-nirvana. Let's say parinirvana maybe. So this is going to be our first, and I think it's a festival. Alright, so we will add it to the list. We will add it to our list. So older students, if you are taking notes, filling out this chart, I'd like you to fill this part in under customs and traditions of Buddhism. Okay, so start making this list along with me. Okay, so this one is parinirvana. So I'm gonna make a little Pari. It's a very long name. Parinirvana. Okay. And you can see that okay, right? Yep, cool. Okay, so parinirvana. And this usually takes place in February, according to this. At this festival, people remember the death of the Buddha. Oh, well, that's sad. Oh no. When he was 81 years old, the Buddha knew that the time had come for him to die. He lay down and died peacefully. Oh, well, that's a pretty good death, I suppose. So here, we're talking about this painting now. So a painting of the death of the Buddha. The Buddha died with his friends gathered around him. Oh, that's very kind, very sweet. So this is the Buddha, and these are all of his friends around him. Okay. In the temple, the lights may be lowered. People chant and meditate in the dimmed light. Then the lights are made bright again. The lights are a symbol. They show that the light of the Buddha's teachings continues to shine in the world. Oh, well, that's beautiful. Now we're going to talk about this picture. So on this shrine, for parinirvana, there are photos of loved ones who have died. Oh, so it's kind of like a remembrance of everyone who's died as well as the Buddha. That's very sweet. Carolina's diary. Sunday, February 15th. My friend Ella invited me to visit her Western Buddhist center for parinirvana. We heard a story about the last days of the Buddha's life. Then we talked about people we knew who had died. We put photos of them on the shrine. We always say special prayers for people who are dying so their next life will be good. That is so thoughtful. That makes sense, actually, why it's called parinirvana. I don't really know what pari means, or I think it's pronounced pari. But nirvana, if you would recall, nirvana is when a Buddhist, escapes from the cycle of reincarnation and reaches what's called nirvana, which is where basically you've become enlightened and you don't have to keep living your life over and over and over, right? So it's the fancy term for reaching enlightenment is nirvana, okay? So our next one, and I was actually going to draw, I forgot about this, I was going to draw a little picture so we could help remember each holiday or festival. So Parinirvana has to do with Buddha's death. So I guess I could try and draw Buddha, right? Or maybe I'll draw a candle. Do they have candles for other things? Oh, they do. I feel like they light a lot of candles. Okay, whatever. I'm going to draw a candle anyway. We could figure out the next one. Because Buddha is a little tricky. Okay, so I guess I'll draw... Okay, good enough, right? Should I put it in a little container? Whatever, that's fine. All right. We're going to move on to Magha Puja, I think it's what it's called. And see, there's candles in this page too. Oh well, we will figure it out. So this is also in February. At Magha Puja, Buddhists in Thailand and other countries remember an important event in the Buddha's life. This was when 1,250 of his followers came to see him. He said they should try to be kind, generous, and patient. He said they should not harm living things. So now we're going to talk about this picture. In Thailand, people light candles and incense sticks at Magha Puja. So maybe we'll draw incense. To celebrate Magha Puja, Buddhists go to their temple. In large temples, 1,250 candles are lit to remember the Buddhist followers. Oh my, that's a lot of candles. This young monk, so we're talking about this picture, this young monk is meditating. Meditation is an important part of Buddha's life and all festivals. Carolina's Diary, Friday, February 28th. Buddhists don't all celebrate the same festivals. Mom and I are NKT, which means the New Kadampa tradition. Buddhists. Oh, so NKT Buddhists. So the New Kadampa tradition Buddhists. We don't celebrate Magha Puja, but we do celebrate the teachings the Buddha gave to his followers. Every month there is the Kangso prayer. It celebrates our rules for everyday life. I don't go because it's 4 hours long and I'd get tired, but Mom does. Wow, 4 hours. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Well, what should we draw for this one? Magha Puja. I guess we could draw incense, right? Will that help us remember it? But I feel like candles are also a huge part. Maybe I could draw a little picture next to this one. What do you think? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a candle, or I'm going to draw a few candles for Magha Puja, and then I will draw like a little photo here for like, right? Because they put photos of people, of their lost loved ones, right? So let's do that. that is not a straight line. Whatever. Okay. I'm not gonna be able to draw a good person. It's a little stick figure guy. Okay. That's really sad. Man, I should have just left the candle. I'll put little candles, short little candles, okay? Oh no, that's bad too. Okay. I'm spending way too long on this. This always happens. I feel like this looks like a little cupcake. Okay. I'll do that for that. Oh, and then Maga Puja is 2 words. A, G, H, A, and then, oh, and that H is floating. I want to make sure I write neat, so you guys make sure to write neat. Maga Puja. Okay, and then for this one, I will draw a little candle. I guess I'll draw, maybe I'll draw 3 little candles. And I'll do the tall kinds, because it seems like they're using these tall ones for this one. Okay. And so, da da da. Ta-da! Okay. Does that help you guys remember better? Hopefully it does. Okay, and then we're going to read 2 more. So we have Hana Matsuri. You see this okay? And this takes place on April 8th. Wow, specifically. So maybe it's April 8th every year. So Hana Matsuri is a Japanese festival. It celebrates the Buddha's birth. Oh, so they have a specific date. So April 8th. Interesting. Buddhists wash a statue of the baby Buddha in perfumed water or sweet tea. They hang a garland of flowers around his neck. So I think we will draw flowers for this next one. The statue is paraded through the streets. Everyone throws lotus flowers into the path of the procession. Then there is a lively fair. So now let's talk about this picture. Children wear traditional Japanese clothes for the Hana Matsuri festival in Japan. Very cool. People set up stalls to sell food. There is folk dancing and acrobats perform for the crowd. For this picture on the right, it says, these children are joining in with the folk dancing at Hana Matsuri. Carolina's Diary, Tuesday, April 8th. My friend Momo is Japanese. Momo! I know Momo means peach, I believe. Today was Hana Matsuri and she emailed me about it. It's her favorite festival. She visited the temple and there was a hall filled with colorful flowers. It looked like the beautiful garden where the Buddha was born. Inside was a lovely statue of the baby Buddha. Momo helped to pour sweet tea on the Buddha's head. How cool! Okay. So this one's a happy festival. Very happy festival. Hana Matsuri. Okay. Oh, also 2 words. Hana Mat. Okay. And we will try and draw this lotus flower, I guess. Okay. Let's see. So in this picture, they have kind of like these. Ah. Okay, that's good enough. So, a flower. Okay. And then last, I believe, yes, last we're going to talk about Buddha Day. So Buddha Day is in May. Buddha Day, or Wesak, is a very important Buddhist festival. It celebrates the Buddha's enlightenment. When the Buddha became enlightened, his mind became clear and peaceful. He knew how to be kind to others and how to help people to be happy. So let's talk about this picture. This boy in Britain is lighting a candle at Wesak. The shrine is often specially decorated for the festival. Very cool. At Wesak, Buddhists visit their temple to worship. Money or food may be given to poor people and to Buddhist monks and nuns. Some Western Buddhists bring food and share a meal together. That's so nice. This picture here on the right says, "These Buddhists in Nepal are lighting lamps to celebrate Wesak." Oh, little lamps! How awesome. Carolina's Diary, Tuesday, April 15th. Today was our Buddha Day. We went to the Buddhist center to be blessed. We were given a little woolen bracelet. Sometimes we get a crystal. We looked at it to remember the Buddha's enlightenment and to remember to love others. I'm going to wear my bracelet until it wears out. Then I'll put it on my shrine. How cool. So what should we draw for this one? No more candle-like things, huh? Maybe we can draw her bracelet that she got. Her little woolen bracelet. There's not a picture of it, but let me write the holiday first. So I'll write Buddha Day, but then I'll also write Wesak, and I hope I'm saying that pronounced, I don't know. But since that's the real name for it, so I'll write both. Buddha Day. And then I'll also put okay. And for this one, you can draw her little bracelet. So let me see. Maybe it ties. And maybe it can be like this. And maybe it crisscrosses or something. Something like that. Okay, so that's her bracelet. Okay, so I'll keep this list here, and next video we will finish up the book and have our full list of traditions and holidays. Okay, see you guys next time.